Today, we're diving into a classic finish line debate: shellac versus lacquer. If you've ever refinished a piece of furniture, walked through a vintage cabinet shop, or just stood in the paint aisle confused by shiny cans and labels, you've probably come across these two. They both promise gloss, protection, and that silky smooth touch. But they're not the same. And choosing the right one isn't just about looks. It's about chemistry, history, durability, and even bugs? Yep, bugs. So let's break it all down, right here, on History of Simple Things. Let's start with shellac. Believe it or not, this stuff has a natural origin, and it's a little gross but also fascinating. Shellac is made from the secretions of the lac bug, specifically the Lacquer insect, which lives on trees in parts of Southeast Asia. The bug leaves behind a sticky resin, which is scraped off the bark, refined, and turned into flakes. These flakes are then dissolved in denatured alcohol to create liquid shellac. Now, before you write this off as bug juice in a can, here's the kicker. Shellac has been used for centuries. Ancient Indian artisans used it in woodcraft, and by the 18th and 19th centuries, it was the go-to finish in Europe and America. Even phonograph records were once made using shellac before vinyl took over. It dries quickly, smells pretty pleasant compared to modern finishes, and gives off a warm, amber glow that's hard to replicate. When you apply shellac to wood, it almost feels like you're revealing the grain's inner soul. It brings out color and depth beautifully. Lacquer, on the other hand, is the modern power tool of finishes. Unlike shellac, lacquer is synthetic, or at least semi-synthetic, depending on the formulation. It's typically made from nitrocellulose, a compound derived from cellulose, plant fiber, mixed with solvents. In older formulations, nitrocellulose was once used in explosives, so yes, this is the same ingredient that helped revolutionize photography, films, and now glossy cabinets. What makes lacquer appealing is its speed and strength. It dries fast, like really fast, and can be sprayed in very thin, even coats that build up into a hard, high-gloss finish. If you've ever touched a piano or a luxury car dashboard with that almost glass-like coating, there's a good chance lacquer was involved. It's tough, resistant to water and alcohol, and can be polished to a mirror-like sheen. It's the favorite in mass-production furniture, especially in the mid-century era, and continues to dominate modern finishing shops. Now let's talk about how each is applied, because this is where the practical differences really show up. Shellac is more forgiving. You can brush it on, pat it, or even use a rag. It dries quickly, within minutes, so you can reapply coats without a huge waiting period. But that quick drying time also means you have to work fast to avoid streaks or overlapping marks. The smell is mild, the cleanup is easy, just alcohol, and it's relatively safe to use indoors with good ventilation. Lacquer, however, is a little more intense. It's almost always sprayed, because brushing it tends to result in bubbles or drag marks due to its fast evaporation. The fumes are strong, really strong, so proper ventilation, masks, and sometimes even spray booths are essential. But for all the extra setup, lacquer rewards you with that professional, hard-as-nails finish. It's the choice for production speed, consistency, and that deep, sleek gloss. This is probably the biggest concern for most people. How well do these finishes stand the test of time? Shellac, while beautiful and natural, isn't the most rugged option. It's vulnerable to water rings, alcohol, heat, and abrasion. A hot coffee mug or a spill of wine can leave a mark if it's not protected. That said, it's also very easy to repair. A new coat of shellac will bond right into the previous one. You don't need to strip it completely, just touch it up and it melts right in. Lacquer, in contrast, is way more durable against daily abuse. It resists moisture better. It can handle hot plates or spilled drinks, and it doesn't cloud up as easily. But when it does get damaged, repairing it is trickier. You often need to strip and reapply, and that means dealing with solvents and spraying again. It's a tougher shell, but not always a friendly one when it cracks. Here's where things get personal. Some people just love the look of shellac. It gives wood a kind of timeless, golden glow that deepens with age. It's especially popular on antiques and restoration projects where you want that authentic old-world charm. There's something nostalgic about a shellac finish. It feels warm, hand-applied, and full of character. Lacquer is slick, modern, and almost too perfect. It's what you'd see on showroom floors or glossy magazines, flawless surfaces that reflect light like water. It doesn't have as much of that golden hue unless you tint it, but it lets the natural wood show through with high definition. So your choice depends a lot on the personality you want your project to have: vintage warmth or contemporary elegance. So, shellac or lacquer? Honestly, it comes down to the project and your priorities. If you're restoring an antique, doing small-scale woodwork, or want something quick and easy to apply without needing industrial gear, shellac is your friend. It's historic, charming, and repairable. But if you're after speed, toughness, and a commercial-grade finish, lacquer is hard to beat. It might demand more setup and safety precautions, but the result is stunning. They each have their place. Shellac is like an old craftsman, patient and warm. Lacquer is like a factory technician, precise, fast, and effective. And sometimes the best finish might even be a combination of both. Some woodworkers use shellac as a sealer and lacquer on top for durability. It's not about picking sides, it's about knowing your tools. So, whether you lean toward the rich, organic warmth of shellac or the sleek, industrial polish of lacquer, both finishes tell their own story. Not just about wood, but about craftsmanship, technology, and even a bit of history. Each has its strengths, quirks, and perfect moments, and knowing when and how to use them makes all the difference. At the end of the day, it's not just about protecting a surface, it's about bringing out the character in what you create. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.